Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I'm speaking with Bozaay. He has just released an all new record called Thanks for Nothing, and I cannot wait to hear all about it. I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day right before this crazy holiday season to
Mhm.
stop in and talk. What is up? How are you doing? What's news in your life?
Pretty good, Austin. Pretty good. It's just the cold weather. Just trying to
Yeah,
stay warm.
braving the winter in California is
Right.
tougher than everyone makes it seem, but
Right.
it's all good. Uh, honestly, I want to hop right into it here. I've listened to this record a few times at this point, and I'm really sincerely enjoyed every second of it. The one thing I do want to point out and kind of start with is what it's all about. You go through a lot of like stories, it seem like personal experiences, but I want to know, is there like an overarching message that you're trying to get across on this record?
Yes. So the album it's an illustration of what my world is and um what like goes on in my world. And
Mhm.
I just feel like not a lot of people, or a lot, like, speaking from a man's perspective, I feel like um people are afraid to speak how they actually feel. and
Yes.
uh and th- and that's that's something I talk about a lot in my album. Like, I feel like my experiences, whether it's the heartbreak or my anxiety, or even like the fear of dying, I just feel like
Mhm.
um I just need to be heard.
I
And
feel you.
these experiences that I go through, because I don't really like telling people how I feel, like, in person. Like, either if it's like telling a therapist or a friend, like,
Totally.
I don't really feel like that's the thing for me. So I feel like speaking through the music or through the mic, I feel like that's my best way. And that's what mostly like this album is about, just sharing my experiences.
No, that totally makes sense. It's funny, I hear that answer a lot where it's like, yeah, I don't want to talk to therapists. Yeah, I don't want to like confide in my friends. Instead, I'm just gonna painstakingly make beautiful art in the
Yeah.
process. To really,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go the super difficult route and just make
Yeah.
music instead, which is
Yeah.
1,000 times harder. But
Yeah.
do you feel like a weight lifted off your shoulder when you write these songs? Like, or even just like the entire process of making music, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like when I just go in the booth and I just release all these lyrics, I just feel way much better. Like, oh, finally, like, so much stress
Yeah,
has been lifted off. And yeah, I think that's one of the most things I like about just making music, really, is just all, like, I feel like everything I had to say is just finally out.
totally, totally. Do you have any outside help putting these records together? Because honestly, the production is killer. So I don't know what you're involved in and or what
Yeah.
you're doing, but if you have a team, they're crushing it. If it's just you, also amazing.
Yeah, so all the lyrics are from me, but
Okay.
the production and the engineering behind it is my good friend Wes Jordan. He's
Nice.
engineer, artist, producer. He does it all. Um and he's currently at Valstan Studio, and he's the one that helps me through it all, really.
Nice.
Um yeah,
Yeah, so
so
how does it work specifically? Like, do you sort of explain the tone of the song that you want? Because, I mean, first, I will say so much of what I enjoyed about this record is that there is a ton of different
mm,
genre influence. Like
yeah,
at its core, it feels like a pretty not standard hip hop record, but it's a hip hop record. But there's
yeah.
also like alternative rock. There's like
Mhm.
there's just so much going on. So I want to like, how do you decide on that? How do you communicate that message to someone who's trying to make your music?
So usually when I go to the studio, I tell them how I feel. Like, all right, I want this to be an uppity beat, but then I want it to feel really strong. Like, I need that heavy guitar sound. Like, I need it.
Yeah,
And so yeah, we what we usually do is I show him my lyrics, and then he just goes on from there. Like, okay, let's see what we can do with this. Like, I'm like, yeah, because I don't just want it to be a hip hop record. Like, I want something
yeah.
different in Sacramento. Um And so what I feel like I was like, all right, let's just switch it up a little bit. Let's give it that pop punk sound. Let's give it that
Totally.
pop, yeah. So and yeah, he totally gets me. And yeah, we just experiment a lot in the studio.
Nice. And
Um
so, like,
we
what's the process like? Is it like, okay, I'm ready for the studio when I have all my lyrics written, or is it like, how does it work for you specifically?
So what we usually do is we grab like a regular beat from YouTube, right?
Okay.
I record off that beat, and once I'm done recording off that YouTube beat, we go ahead and just delete that beat, and then we just start from scratch. And so we go from there, and then that's the process right there, just starting from scratch.
Very
It's
cool.
it's it's a crazy process. It's a
Yeah,
crazy
man.
but interesting process.
Like, again, I've never made music in my life. I just enjoy
Uh-huh.
talking about it. But the
Yeah,
process of really being like, okay, this song is talking about this message, so I think that it should have this tone. It's like a science experiment. It's like
yeah,
saying like, all right, one plus one has to equal two, but like, how do we get there?
yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
pretty awesome.
and it usually depends too when when I go to the studio, like, okay, either I'm feeling happy or I'm feeling sad. Like, all right, let's go with this record today. Let's go with this record.
Totally.
Um, it just depends on how I'm feeling that day, and that's what we go off of. It's very
Nice.
interesting.
That's awesome, man. I obviously I want to keep talking about this record, but I also kind of want to look towards the future a little bit. We're
Hmm.
recording this like right at the end of the year, so the obvious
Yeah.
sort of follow-up is like, what is this next year looking for you? You're no stranger to putting out albums. This is not your first, and you've got a string of
Um,
singles as well. So, are you the type of person that's always working on the next thing, or do you always have like demos running around, or what's
no,
sort of
yeah,
what's that side of it?
yeah. I'm a futurist. I like to think ahead. I feel like what the future, what the next year looks like. I just hope I'm 5 or 10 steps ahead of what I am from now.
Totally.
Um, I I want to release a lot of music videos, perform a lot of venues, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Like just release a lot of music videos and a lot
Yeah,
a
man.
lot of more projects, a lot of more
Nice.
because
So, no, no,
I
please,
feel
please
like
go.
I've I gave it like a year. I took a year off making music. Um, but yeah, like I definitely just want to keep being consistent for 2022.
That's what it's all about, man, is keeping that
Yeah.
consistency, but also trying not to force the art to come, because you can
No,
only
yeah.
have so many things happen to you that you want to write about, and then
Mhm.
there's a certain fakeness about it. But I have a
Yeah.
I have a sneaking suspicion that you'll figure it out in the new year. So,
Appreciate it.
and
Appreciate
as
it.
far as like influences and inspirations, is there one artist, or is it just like a lifelong love of music that eventually got you to start making it for yourself?
To be honest, it's a little bit of both. I
Yeah.
say probably inspiration would be Juice World, a lot of Juice World.
Hmm.
He's a big inspiration to me. But I'd say probably since I was like in third grade, that's when I really
Wow.
started getting into, yeah, I started getting into music a lot. Um Growing up, I didn't feel like I had a voice.
Sure.
Um and I felt like I wasn't being heard. And the only way I felt like being heard was through the music. So yeah, that's what really inspired me was
Nice.
just talking through the music.
Was there one thing specifically that like put you over the edge to be like, okay, now's the time. Like now I'm gonna start making music.
Oh man, the heartbreaks. The heartbreaks. A lot of
Well, I
heartbreaks.
should have guessed. It's always the heartbreak.
Yeah, the heartbreaks. Like
Too funny.
I won't tell you how I feel, but I'm like, okay, that's like it's
Yeah,
all right.
that's what I'm
I'll
saying.
let you know how I feel through the music. The
Right.
heartbreaks take a big it's another big inspiration too.
I was saying,
Like
man, all these
but
artists, instead of just like talking to people, they're like, all right, I'm gonna spend the next year of my life making a record. And it's like, yeah, you know what? Like, if that's the way you want to cope and that's the way you want to do it, then
yeah,
don't let me stop you, because you're just putting more, hopefully, positivity and reflection into the world.
yeah,
I respect it. I
yeah.
respect it.
And yeah, that's what I want to do. I just want to like when people hear my music, I want them to feel comfortable let them know it's okay to know how you feel, like whether it's a
Totally.
heartbreak or anxiety or whatever
Right.
it is you're going through. Like, it's all right. So,
Is there something specifically that you enjoy the most about the process? From like the thinking about the content of what you're going to write about, like all the way to the production and like the being done with the song. Is there one part that you're like, yeah, that's what I want to do. That's what I'm looking forward to.
oh yeah, when I'm performing my music and I see people just dancing to it and they're
Yeah.
feeling it, and I'm just like, wow, like this is actually like they're liking it, like, and I feel
Right.
like it's curing them or it's distracting them from whatever they're going through, and that's honestly just motivates me more, to be honest.
Like,
Just making sure it just, it helps people.
I'm assuming you've had the opportunity to play shows with this record yet, or no?
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
yes.
So how's that going? What does a set like look like from you?
So it's usually open mics in our downtown
Yeah.
area,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure.
and yeah, so I sign up, and then once they call me, I just go up there, I do my thing, and then just the feeling like after you're done performing and people are applauding you and they're telling you, great job, good job, like I want to hear more. And then they ask you for like your Spotify or your Instagram.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing feeling. It's an amazing feeling.
It's got to be an unexplainable high. Like you could
Yeah,
never put it into words to someone that has either not that doesn't go to live events. Anyone that goes to
yeah,
live events can be like, yeah, I get that. Like they're clearly having the time of their life. People are
yeah,
there to see them specifically.
yeah.
But yeah, it's got to be an addicting feeling for sure.
Oh man, I fell in love with the feeling. At first, it was I was nervous, like
Yeah.
performing in front of people. Like,
Yeah.
I was never the type to perform or speak in front of an audience.
Right.
But now that I kept doing it over and over, I just fell in love with it, honestly. And
Makes
just
sense.
seeing the people just enjoying the music and all the applauding that they give me, I just fell in love with it.
If you had to pick a couple songs from this record to recommend people listen
Yeah,
to before they fully dive in, are there
yeah,
two or three or whatever that you think would really stand out for them?
yeah. So I'd say the first one would be Love Potion.
Okay.
Love Potion. Second one would be Break Free,
Mhm.
and the third one would most likely be Intoxicated.
Okay. Any reason why?
Mostly because it's different from um the the local music around me.
Okay.
Usually you have the gangster rap around Sacramento area.
That's true.
Um, it's yeah, it's mostly gangster rap or just hip hop itself. And those three records, they're not like Sacramento music really. I feel like
Sure.
you get a little bit of both worlds, which is hip hop, and then you get the pop punk sound. And that's why I feel like it just stands out the most out of the album. So I feel like those three would be
Okay.
would be the yeah.
All right. So then narrowing it down just a little bit more, is there
Yeah.
one song specifically that you look forward to performing the most?
Ooh, ooh, the Love Potion. Love
Yeah.
Potion. Yeah,
Just
Love Potion.
gets the people going.
It gets the people going, and
Yeah.
that's the one. That's the one I really I express my feelings the most. I
Mhm.
express my feelings the most in that one. And
Nice.
yeah, that song has just a lot of meaning to it. So I feel like Love Potion is the one.
Okay. No, I think that's a great answer, and I fully
Yeah.
agree. I think you gotta lock people in, you gotta get their attention, and they'll be
Mhm.
hooked for life.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned, and you'll look back on this, but we are recording this at the end of the year. It's been
Yeah.
a crazy year, and I can only imagine that next year is going to be the same. But I want you to
Yeah.
put yourself in in the shoes of you in a year from now on this day or at the end of the year. Is there
Mhm.
anything that you'd really like to accomplish by the end of next year this time?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I hope I'm at least locally famous or I'm signed to a label, um, or at least I'm just being heard and they know where I'm coming from
Hmm.
when they listen to my music. I say those three things right there, definitely my biggest ones. I at least that's where I want to, I know where I want to be from a
Sure,
year from now.
that makes sense.
Definitely.
How about non-musical goals? How do you plan on working on yourself as a person in the next year?
Oh, um, probably buy a house, have my
Yeah,
own, yeah, have yeah, have my own house at least, or yeah, definitely buy my own house for sure. At least from a year
nice.
from now, at least that's from the music way.
I love
Yeah.
that. Are you well connected like within the local music scene? Like, do you keep up on what's going on
Um, here and there, here
here
and
and
there.
there?
Like yeah. So, um, like I said, like the open mics, I just started like realizing like there's a lot of talented people in Sacramento.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm finally starting to get to know them. So I feel like yeah, just those open mics.
Okay.
This it's opening my eyes, and I'm starting to realize there is a lot of talented people in Sacramento.
Well, you're one of them, so you're gonna
Appreciate
keep
it.
making a
Appreciate
name for yourself.
appreciate it.
Hi man. Slightly related to that.
Yeah.
What were you listening to this year? Is there anything that you can recommend that people check out that they might have slept on that isn't your music?
Oh, ooh, yeah. That there's Juice World,
Hmm.
the Legend Never Dies album. He's a major artist, so I don't know if a lot of people listen to Juice
Oh, it
World.
doesn't.
And
It can
then
be big or small.
a big or small,
Big or
okay.
small, whatever you've been enjoying.
And then there's this artist called Mason.
Okay.
He's a really good artist. He's currently located in Los Angeles, I believe. But yeah, he's actually a big inspiration to my music too.
That's awesome.
Um, yeah. Um, yeah, I think those two. Oh, and my friend Jay Marty. My friend Jay Marty, he also makes music. Big inspiration to me. Um, he's the one that I started this whole music stuff with.
Really?
And yeah, and he's a big inspiration. I look up to him a lot too.
That's awesome. Okay, well, if
Mm,
he's on the streaming, I'll definitely check him out. Ed Mason as well.
yeah,
Thanks for the
yeah,
rec. Okay, I've got one more question for you at this point.
yeah,
And basically, the question is for the person that is going to discover you from this, and for the person that is going to listen to your music for the first time, what is an
yeah.
opening message that you'd like to say to them?
The opening message I would say is I hope once you listen to my music, you understand where I'm coming from, and that it's okay to express your feelings or whatever you're going through. And I just hope that we connect when you listen to my music, like you know where I'm coming from and the understanding. Um, yeah, that would be my big message to
I think that's a great
them.
message. And no, seriously, it does feel so much easier to like insulate and write those lyrics and then put it out into the world because you don't know who's always listening, but people are listening.
Exactly,
So
exactly,
my recommendation would be obviously listen to the record, but also like take a minute and make the connections with the lyrics. Like listen to the stories. It's not just, fun beats. Like it's so much more than that.
exactly, exactly.
I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your, I assume, busy week for doing this, man. It means so much. And I also want to plug the record one more time. It is called Thanks for Nothing. I will have links to all of it so people can listen. But this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Austin, for having me.
You're
Appreciate it.
very welcome. Have a great rest of your year, and we'll definitely be
Yes,
talking soon, man.
yes. Happy New Year and Merry Christmas.
You as well. You as well. Take care, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right,
Bye
you too.
bye.
Bye.